Channel bending is also another kind. U bending is this kind when the force is applied and the sheet is converted into U shape. Air bending, this is like the aerofoil. This is offset bending. This is the shape. This is corrugating bending is the offset but multiple offsets. And this is the tube forming process. In this the tube is formed. Drawing or deep drawing. Sheet metal forming process to make cup-shaped, box-shaped, and other complex curved, hollow-shaped part. Sheet metal blank is positioned over die cavity and then punch pushes metal into opening. The blank must usually be held down flat against the die by a blank holder. Product beverage cans can be made through this, ammunition shells can be made through this, sinks can be made through this, cooking pots and automobiles body panels are made from the drying process. Drying of a cup-shaped part. Start of operation before punch contacts work near end of the stroke. This is the things when the force is applied on it. This is the punching pads and the pushing, and this is the desired part. And this is basically initial thing. Put it into the die, pushed. This is pushed here, and this is the desired cup or glass. C is the clearance. dB is the blank diameter. dB is the punch diameter. FH is holding force. F is drawing force. Clearance in drawing. Sides of punch and die separated by a clearance C given by C is equal to 1.1 T, which is the stock thickness. In other words, clearance is about 10% greater than the stock thickness. As the punch proceeds downward toward its final bottom position, the work experiences a complex sequence of stresses and the strains as it is gradually formed into a shape defined by the punch and die cavity. Significant thinning can also take place during the process. Deformation in deep drawing. Initial step is this, then second is the bend of edge, then straightening of the walls, then thinning and drawing, and this is the final cup shape. Engineering analysis of drawing. Drawing ratio dr is given by dB by dP, where dB is the blank diameter and dP is the punch diameter, indicates severity of given drawing operation. Upper limit is equal to 2.0 if the dr less than 2.0. Reduction. What is reduction? Defined for the cylinder shape, it is the R is equal to dB minus dP divided by dB. Value of R should be less than 0.50. R must be less than 0.5. If the limits on the drawing ratio, reduction and thickness to diameter ratio are exceeded, the blank must be drawn in steps or having annealing between steps. Thickness to diameter ratio. Thickness of starting blank divided by blank diameter. Thickness to diameter ratio is equal to T divided by dB. T is here the thickness, dB is the blank diameter. It must be greater than 1%. As T by dB decrease, tendency of wrinkling increase. Drawing force is given by F is equal to pi dP T capital T into dB by dP minus 0.7. This is some kind of formula. You can learn it by yourselves. Max at 1 by 3 stroke. Holding force is given by Fh, which is equal to 0.015 y pi into dB square minus dP plus 2.2 T plus 2 R d square. Holding pressure may be set at 0.015 of the yield strength. It is the tensile strength, while the yield strength RD is die corner radius. Holding force is 1 by 3 of the drying force. Blank size determination. This is some kind of, you can do it by yourself. Shapes other than cylindrical cups. Square or rectangular box can be made. Stepped cup, cones, cups with spherical rather than flat bases, irregular curve forms, and such as in automobiles body panels. Each of these shapes presents its own unique technical problems in drawing. Everyone has some unique type of problems in the drawing process. This is some other drawing operation. Redrawing. Redrawing is stepped, and reverse drawing like this type. These are not too much important. Drawing defects. These are some defects that can happen in the drawing process. First is wrinkling. This is kind of the wrinkles in the sheet after the drying process. Small holding forces when the holding force is small. Wrinkling in the wall. It's also due to insufficient holding forces. Wrinkling initially occurred on the flange and then propagate onto the boundary walls. Then third one is tearing. It is due to high stresses and sharp die radius if the die radius is high. And earring is given due to the anisotropy of the material. It has anisotropic material, then it would be earring. And the third last one is E, the surface scratches. It is due to die punch is not having a smooth surface. It is due to rough boundaries of the die. Other sheet metal forming on presses operations performed on conventional press is ironing, embossing, lancing, twisting, and there may be Guerin process and hydroforming. Ironing. Ironing is the making wall thickness of cylindrical cup more uniform, squeezing and drying in conjunction. This is some kind of shape in the walls. Just as you can see, this is the desired part. So there is a form and shape in the boundary walls in the die, so that the final shape is according to our expectations. This is known as ironing. Embossing is like the printing someone upon other one. The force is this is the shape. It can be embossed on the sheet, such as print on the coins and etc. Lancing is actually the cutting and forming combination, so it is known as lancing. Guerin process. In this, there is a rubber pad in the punched, and the there's a form block present there, and sheet is placed on the form block. When the when this die punch is moved on the sheet, this is the rubber pad is compressed, and the sheet is converted into desired shape. This is known as Guerin process. Guerin process, or you can pronunciate it as Guerin process. It has low tooling cost. Form block can be made of wood, plastic, or other material that are easy to shape. Rubber pad can be used with different form of blocks. Process attractive in small quantity production. It can be used in small quantity. Hydroforming is the rubber forming process. Guerin process when pressure up to 10 megapascal, and hydroforming having the pressure up to 100 megapascal. It can be done with different conditions. Like here is the cavity. It is a rubber diaphragm. A diaphragm is some kind of thin pad or any kind of this material. And in some cases there is hydraulic fluid present inside. Sometime and then the force is applied and sheet is converted into desired shape. Dies for sheet metal process. Most press working operations performed with the conventional punch and die tooling. The tooling is normally referred to as a die, custom designed for particular part. The term stamping die is sometimes used for high production dies. This is some components of punch and die for the blanking operation. This is attached to press ram, punch holder, the punch, the strip stock. It's come here, punch, and then goes. This is the die, this is die holder, this is press base. This is the desired part, blank. Sometimes there is a progressive die. It is associated with multiple processes at the same time. It is in compound dies, two or more operations are performed in a single station, such blanking and punching to produce washer. This is kind of a compound dies. Press. What is press? A press is used for sheet metal working is a machine tool with a stationary bed and powered arm that can be driven toward and away from the bed to perform various cutting and forming operation. The ram is driven by mechanical or hydraulic power. When a die is mounted on the press, the punch holder is attached to the ram and the die holder is attached to the blaster plate of the press bed. Presses are available in a variety of capacities, force and production rates, power systems and frame types. Presses are available in a variety of capacities, power systems and frame types. This is some components of typical mechanical drive stamping press. This is a flywheel, the ram, blast plate and bed. This is the frame, Jeet-like frame and drive. Types of stamping press: frame, gap frame, straight-sided frame, C-frame, etc. This is a gap frame. This is a press brake with bed width of blah blah. This you can see. This is another sheet working products. This is a CNC's turret press, straight-sided frame press, power and drive systems. There are two kinds of presses, hydraulic press and mechanical press. Hydraulic press use a large piston and cylinder to drive a ram. Longer ram stroke than mechanical types can develop full tonnage force. It's 100% accurate, suited to deep drying and slower than mechanical drives. As you know, it is good for hydraulic presses is good um, for slow process like gradual process, so it is slower than mechanical drives. Mechanical presses convert rotation of motor to linear motion of ram. A flywheel is used to store the energy of the drive motor for use in stamping operation. High forces at bottom of stroke. It's high impact like this, suited to blanking and punching. Drive mechanism for mechanical press can be eccentric shaft, drive shaft, connecting rods, and ram. This is like motion of the ram. There is a crankshaft. This crank is moving and the shaft is moving up and down, and this is the ram. Knuckle joint. This is the process. Sheet metal operation not performed on the press are stretch forming, roll bending and forming, spinning process, high energy rate forming process, like discuss it later. Stretch forming is the process in which the sheet metal is stretched and simultaneously bent to achieve the shape change. Used for relatively simple and gradual bend, the combination of stretching and bending results in relatively little springback. The stretch forming is like this, where these two clamps, and or maybe you can term it as jaws, are holding the sheet, and this is die applying force, and this is the controlled stretch forming. It is a controlled forming process. F is the stretching force and F die will the force of the die. Force required in the stretch forming. Force is given by F is equal to L T YF. F is stretching force, L is length of sheet directional perpendicular to stretching, T is the thickness, instantaneous stock thickness, YF the flow stresses of the work metal. Yes, next is roll bending. Large metal sheets and plates are formed into curved section using rolls. This is the process for turning into some desired roll bending. As the sheet passes between the rolls are brought closer to each other to achieve the desired radius of the curvature. Roll forming. Continuous bending process in which opposing rolls produce long sections to form shaped from a coil to strip straw. Used to produce channel, gutters, pipes, and tubing with seams and structural type, just like some desired shape of, just like this. This is a straight, and this is the end view, and this is next one, three. This is the start. Initially, this is like this. Secondly, a small curvature, and finally the beam-like structure or U-like structure. First is straight rolls, second is partial rolls, and third is final form. Spinning. It is quite interesting. Spinning is the metal forming process in which an axially symmetric part is gradually shaped over a rotating mandrel using a rounded tool or roller. Sorry. Majorly, it is used for the production of like glass drinking water. The tools or roller applies a very localized pressure to deform the work by axial and radial motion over the surface part. Basic geometry produced by spinning includes cups, tubes, glasses, and cylinders, etc. Three types: conventional spinning, shear spinning, and tube spinning. This is the visualization of conventional spinning. This is the clamp. Sheet is clamped on some die or mandrel. In this, the die is named as mandrel. This is spinning tool or roller tool. It is placed over here and slide into this direction, just like this. And this is the final desired shape of cup. This is shear spinning. In this, the force is also applied on the mandrel, and this is the initial thickness, and this is the final thickness. In this, the thickness is reduced. Thinning and bending occur at the same time. And tube spinning is like this. This is the spinning process. In thickness is decreased and length is increased. And this is internal tube spinning. Sorry. High energy rate forming process to form metal using large amount of energy over a very short time. HERF process include explosive forming, electrohydraulic forming, and electromagnetic forming. Explosive, as it is clear from the name, it is like a blasting, involves the use of explosive charge to form sheet or metal into a cavity. This is some kind of vacuum is created here. This is the sheet, and this is an explosive charge. When it is exploded, this is increasing the press. The sheet is going into desired shape like this. Second is electromagnetic forming. In this, the electromagnetic coil is induced in it, and induced current will change the shape of the part. Bending tube stock is like this is the form block. The tool and or pipe is bent like this. Some kind of this is fixed, and this is wiper shoe, like turning for the purpose of turning. And that's all for today. I hope you will understand the sheet metal working process, and I hope if you have any queries, comment. Till then, take care.